Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the FCCJ, to today's press conference. I'm Anthony Rowley. I'm a former president of this club and a member of the Professional Activities Committee. The title of today's press conference is Transforming Okinawa to a Social Business Island. We've had many press conferences on Okinawa here in the past, but usually they've been about rather weighty subjects like the transfer of the military bases from Futenma to Henoko. But today we're going to be hearing about a rather lighter subject. In fact, it has to do with comedians promoting the business of laughter in order to tackle important social problems, and in this case, to transform Okinawa. So I'll introduce the speakers very briefly, and I hope they'll forgive the short introductions, but that will allow more time for the speakers to say more about themselves and their aims. So joining us, the first speaker will be Kana Izumi, Representative Director, Yoshimoto Laugh and Peace Company Limited. The second speaker will be Hitoshi Suzuki, who's General Incorporated Association of the General Incorporated Association, Yunus, Japan. No, I'm sorry. Yes, that's right. Sorry, I beg your pardon. We have 5 speakers, rather more than usual. Okay, the third speaker is Masaharu Okada, General Incorporated Association, Yunus, Japan. Fourth speaker is Hiroshi Osaki, Representative Director, Yunus Yoshimoto Social Action Company. And the fifth speaker is Mohammed Yunus, Nobel Peace Prize winner in 2006 and Olympic Laurel Award winner in 2020. Professor Yunus will be joining us via Zoom. And so let's get started then right away with Izumi-san.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi. Good afternoon. My name is Izumi of Yoshimoto Laugh and Peace. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you today. We are very pleased to be announcing the launch of our social business promotion project in the prefecture of Okinawa. This financial year, we have been selected as part of the Dormant Deposit Utilization System of Japan as an executing organization for Social Business Creation Support Project, which is a special grant program based on this system. Within this project, this incubation project, we will be working in the 41 municipalities throughout Okinawa Prefecture to promote and raise awareness of social business. And through this, to create different issues for resolving social issues through business for educational and entrepreneurial opportunities. Further, with this project, we also aim to use the various promotional tools which are held by the Yoshimoto Group to raise awareness more broadly of the social issues which exist in Okinawa and their resolution throughout all of Japan. So I would like to draw your attention to the PowerPoint where we have some information about this project as well. We can see the name of the project, which is the Umusan Live. Umusan is actually an Okinawan word, which means interesting or exciting. So we hope to create different exciting projects on all the islands of Okinawa and spreading love for the islands through this project. So this is why we have given it this project of the Umusan Love. As for the contents of the project, we will be conducting at various locations throughout Okinawa workshops, also at the Okinawa International Movie Festival, which is also held by our company, a business contest. And next year in March, we will be opening also BS Yoshimoto, a new satellite television channel, and we'll be promoting the project there as well. For the implementation of this project, we have formed a partnership with the top runner, a really leading social business company in Okinawa called Umusan Lab. And we will be making full use of our strengths in promotion and planning as part of this partnership. So in addition, if we can have the next slide. Since the year 2009, we have been coordinating or holding the Okinawa International Movie Festival. This is an annual entertainment-based event promoting the different attractions of Okinawa and also developing its human resources. This event is held in bringing in all the islands of Okinawa every year in April, and it's become really a tradition bringing together film industry professionals both from Japan and internationally, media, and also many fans to Okinawa as well. This is it's a fixed project now taking place as well. When the festival was last held in person in 2019, it attracted 300,000 visitors over 4 days, and the economic impact in total for Okinawa was over 8.5 billion yen. So as we have mentioned through the movie festival and our experience in Okinawa, I'd like to share just my conclusion for today. We hope that this project will help Okinawa to become a social business island where smiles will really be overflowing all throughout the island. Please pay attention to updates on the project through our homepage and other methods. And we thank you very much for your support from now also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for keeping to time. Okay, next we have number 2. Hitoshi Suzuki, who will be joining us via Zoom. So, Suzuki-san, please.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for this opportunity to briefly introduce JAMPIA, or Japan Network for Public Interest Activities, and its grant system using Dormant deposit in Japan. Let me share with you our slides. Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I should have said we have simultaneous interpretation into Japanese today.
I see. You may know that the dormant deposits are inactive bank accounts which for 10 or more years. Approximately 70 billion yen are estimated to be accumulated as dormant deposits every year in Japan. To utilize such a dormant deposit for public interest activities by the private sector, the relevant law was enacted in December 2016 and enforced on January 1st, 2018. Pursuant to the law, the JAMPIA was publicly selected by Japanese government as a single designated organization to promote private sector's activities to resolve social issues, which are not addressed by public systems or services in Japan in January 2019. You may consider JAMPIA as a founder of funds or a champion of the program. This slide shows you how the dormant deposits are transferred and delivered to players from financial institutions. Players are implementing groups such as non-profit organizations and social ventures and so on. The funds are through Deposit Insurance Corporation of Japan, the up right shows you, and this is the government agents, and then transfer to JAMPIA and fund distribution organization as grant. Japan's system is very unique. This is consisting of 3 layers as shown in this slide. JAMPIA publicly evaluates, selects the fund distribution organization, which is centered in the slide, based on the RFPs. Kyushu Social Business Consortium, consisting of Kyushu Keizai Chosakai or Kyushu Economic Research Center, and Yunus Japan is one of them, selected in 2020. Our selected FDOs then evaluate public select players. Yoshimoto Laugh and Peace Company is one of them, selected by Kyushu Social Business Consortium in 2020 based on the proposed schemes. We focus partnerships and engagement. Jampier partners with our selected fund distribution organizations, Kyushu Social Business Consortium, to support players, Yoshimoto Laugh and Peace, that act on challenging social issues. Jampier provides fund distribution organizations with grants for the grant schemes to have their selected players carry out activities. We also provide fund distribution organizations for additional grants, hands-on support, learning opportunities, payroll subsidies for FDO's capacity building. This support includes learning opportunities for fund distribution organization program officers. This is a core human scope to promote players in effective and right manner. We also support fund distribution organizations for other capacity building areas, including governance and compliances, accountability, raising funds, social impact evaluation, corporate support and engagement, and so on. Fund distribution organizations provide players with grants for the activities and with hands-on and accompaniment support for their effective implementation, as well as for building their capacity. Jampier promotes public interest activities by the private sector in the form of All Japan efforts by engaging all the sectors, stakeholders, including business sector, as a model to contribute to SDGs, as our vision shows here. This shows the overall picture of the total program using Dormant deposit to date. Jampier started this grant scheme in 2019, and the total grant amounts have reached 12 billion yen. That will be allocated to fund distribution organization players. And the selected grant programs are now 94, and 592 different kinds of programs are implemented across Japan to help resolve social issues in each related community. We expect that this social impact made by these activities will become so huge. Thank you for attention. That's all my presentation.
Yes, thank you very much. Sorry, Suzuki-san, I should have said in my introduction that you're from the General Incorporated Foundation, Japan Network for Public Interest Activities. Okay, we now move on to Okada Masaharu-san. Thank you.
九州地域ソーシャルビジネスコンソーシアム
Hello, I am glad to be here. I am from Yunus, Japan. My name is Okada. As Secretary General Suzuki has just mentioned, thank you to the funding which is delivered to us through Jampier. We are one of the organizations which has been allocated some of the funding through this as of last year, and one of the projects within this, one of these, together with Yoshimoto, and so I'm glad to be here taking part in this project. So first of all, before getting into this, I'd like to ask first of all, in regards to Yunus social business, perhaps there are some people here today who are not so familiar with Yunus social business. So I would like to introduce that first. We have delivered a material to those here today, which includes the 7 principles of Yunus social business. And this really tells it all. The first of these principles is that the business objective should be to overcome some kind of social problem, social issue. The second is that this business should have sustainability both in terms of financially and economically. So ensuring this independence and sustainability. The third is in regards to the investors. They should be getting back only their investment amount only, which means zero capital gain. and there is no dividend beyond what is invested. The fourth, well, when it comes to what kind of profits, so the profits stay with the company for the period after that as well, or also used for other social businesses. The fifth principle is that it should be conscious, both gender sensitive and environmentally conscious as well. The sixth principle is in regards to the workers. The wages and also the working conditions should be given priority. And the seventh is do it with joy, ensuring that you can have fun and enjoy all of this as these are being implemented. These are the 7 principles of the Yunus social business. These are both the minimum and the maximum. These 7 principles all come together, and within these included in the terms and conditions and so on of the companies, looking at how we can build more and more businesses within Okinawa which are doing this, and that is the goal of this project. These 7 principles are actually based on something which in the Edo period, something that Japanese people had already been doing or very similar to that. This is a person called Santoku Ninomiya who had a saying, business without morals is a sin or a crime, and morals without business is just nonsense. It's sleepwalking. So we could say this means that if you're just having economics or business without morals, this is something which, well, Japanese people were already looking at these principles. It's part of the tradition here. And so I think this is what Professor Yunus is really stating in these principles as well. So we're looking at within the place of Okinawa, the space there in the form of social businesses to ensure that we can build up more and more pilot models, and from Okinawa to the whole of Japan, and from Japan to the whole of the world from there. And we think that this is really within the DNA of us as Japanese people. So we want to remind ourselves once again of this and relaunch again from Okinawa. That is our goal. Thank you very much.
Short and sweet. I'm sure Milton Friedman would approve of your sentiments. Okay, let's move on now to the 4th speaker, who is Osaki Hiroshi-san.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm from Yunus Yoshimoto Social Action Representative Director Hiroshi, Osaki. I would like to first of all express my great gratitude for this honor to be able to speak in front of Dr. Muhammad Yunus and all of you. Let me begin by addressing first. Let me begin by first addressing the Social Business Incubation Promotion Project, island-wide Umusan Love Project in Okinawa, how it began. Our company, Yoshimoto Kogyo, in 2011, since 2011, spearheaded an initiative for comedians to relocate to 47 prefectures and to help revitalize the local communities. This project is called We Will Live in Your City project. The comedians who are to relocate and the regional employees, our employees, work together with the local community to address various issues that are found that are ingrained locally, and to try to revitalize the local community as well. For example, the local municipalities, 547 of our employees have been appointed as tourism ambassadors. Our people have hosted local TV and radio programs, and to help the communities develop specialties and local products as well, and to sell them as well. In agriculture, due to issues such as aging and difficulties in finding succession, our comedians have moved into the farmlands to work and live on farms to appeal to the whole country, so the agriculture it becomes more relevant. Now, as Ms. Izumi presented in Okinawa since 2009, there's an island-wide effort in April each year, a spring event in Okinawa, which is called the Island-wide Okina Festival. As part of this initiative, the feature of the initiative is throughout the year, the 41 municipalities of Okinawa are promoted for their attractions, and that's our focus. our comedians are sent to the 41 municipalities as part of an all-out effort to cheer the local communities and to work on day-to-day initiatives. Through such initiatives in Okinawa, we became more aware of the societal issues inherent in Okinawa, such as poverty and lack of education opportunities. It's been more than 10 years since our comedians have become embedded in local communities, and there's an awareness as to how to enjoy and solve societal issues at the same time. Why not use laughter as a power to resolve societal issues which are often difficult? Then the point is not to maximize profitability, but to resolve societal issues, and also to create a mechanism that's sustainable and that can be done with joy. And that's how we met Yunus, the Yunus social business. And through our collaboration with Dr. Mohammed Yunus, we felt that there's greater contribution to be made to the society at large. And therefore, in March of 2018, together with Dr. Yunus, the Yunus Yoshimoto Social Action Company Limited was set up. The mission is to address social issues with the power of entertainment, and our comedians working together with the startup enterprises and local communities to aim for innovation, local innovation. And already there are various projects underway in all 47 prefectures. Now, as we present the social business incubation promotion projects in Okinawa for this Uchina Social Action powered by Yunus Social Business, the model is the Yunus Social Business model as advocated by Dr. Yunus. Business incubations are carried out. 41 municipalities were subject to that, and social businesses were set up in all municipalities in order for them to become sustainable businesses. Eventually, there will be zero poverty, zero unemployment, and net zero emissions, with a lot of laughter along the way. So the goal is for Okinawa to become a triple zero society, and so that Okinawa will become a social business island as a flagship region of social business. Yoshimoto Kogyo Group will work hard towards that goal. Through incubation, social business incubation in Okinawa, there will be education and entrepreneurial opportunities as well, as means of resolving societal issues through a business. In March of next year, one program, one business being the goal of our new BS broadcasting satellite TV station BS Yoshimoto, which will begin in March next year, the key motto being local revitalization. Our various diverse promotion tools will be leveraged so that Okinawa societal issues would be made more aware of and solutions appealed across the country. Promoting entrepreneurship and social business would be the key to this project so that there's positive impact on society at large. In the mid and long term, in the short and mid-term run, Yunus Yoshimoto Social Action and Yoshimoto Integrated Fund will work together so that there will be more investments made new investments made to Yunus social business. Initiatives will begin soon. Our own media, Fanny Magazine, the official YouTube Yoshimoto Kogyo channel, Yoshimoto's official Instagram, Twitter, Line would be vehicles for disseminating information for updating news. People to connect. Connecting people is very important in any times. 3-0 society full of smiles. This Yoshimoto cannot go to it alone. It is important for every single individual to take action both within and outside of that prefecture, and we're just creating opportunities. Creating and sustaining this vehicle would warrant your support as well. Through diverse initiatives and our collective efforts, let us transform Okinawa into a social business island. We're looking forward to working with you, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Okay, last but obviously not least, we have Dr. Mohammed Yunus joining us online. Dr. Yunus, please.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm delighted to be back in Tokyo. There's a resound coming. My voice.
The sound is fine.
There's a kind of resound. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Still the sound is going on. Okay.
It seems to be okay, I think, yes.
Yeah, is it okay? Is it now? Oh, it's okay now. Okay. Thank you. I'm delighted to be back in Tokyo. It's wonderful to be back after so many years, and particularly in the light of just a recent event, the Tokyo Olympic 2020. I was there virtually, like right now, and had a wonderful honor to receive the Olympic Laurel. And the Japanese audience loved that segment, and highest participation of the audience during the opening ceremony was at that moment. And I was talking about the 3 zeros, how to implement the 3 zeros. That's what brings us together here at this moment. And it's not anyway less thrilling today than it was on the Olympic opening day for me, because you are announcing Yoshimoto Social Action and the Dormant Fund collectively announcing something very significant for me. That's what you have decided, and announcing it today in the press conference, how to make a social business a reality and 3-0 a reality. That's what the commitment is all about, what we're discussing today in this press conference. We would be looking forward how a Dormant Fund, which was a great dream, can be translated into a reality of transforming societies and people by the participation of the Dormant Fund. I was connected with the development of the concept of the Dormant Fund in Japan, and I was very happy to have this window for social business within the Dormant Fund. Today, I see an actual implementation of that commitment of the window on social business in the Dormant Fund to transform the island of Okinawa as a social business island. This is a fantastic announcement to be made in a formal way, bringing all these parties, very significant parties together with Yunus Japan, with the Yoshimoto, and also Yoshimoto Social Action, and also Genipia. That's have been bringing all together, all the pieces together. It has to be something very significant. To me, it is important because I have been promoting this idea of creating a 3-0 world and telling that we must commit ourselves to creating a new world of 3 zeros. Zero net carbon emission. This is obvious because COP26 will be soon be held in Glasgow, and telling us that how close we are to the extinction of this planet, of the people who live on this planet. IPCC already announced that not more than 20 years is left before we will reach 1.5 degrees Celsius, and which is our last point that we can tolerate in this planet for comfortable living. After that, it will be extremely difficult living. We are entering into the red zone. So before we get to the red zone, we must do everything possible in our capacity to make sure we stay within 1.5 degrees Celsius, don't cross the boundary line. And Japan has already announced that to have a zero net carbon emission by 2050. So this is in line with the global initiative and also the Japanese bold initiative to make that happen by 2050 to create a net zero carbon world that Japan want to contribute, make Japan itself a net zero country. So this is one consistent with everything that we are doing. So what we are talking about, the 3-0 world, zero carbon emission, zero wealth concentration. We don't want all the wealth to be concentrated in few hands, which is today, and it's getting worse every day. All the wealth is being concentrated in insignificant number of people, a handful of people. 1% of population of the world owning 99% of the wealth of the world. It is a very ugly information that we can have. And it's creating another crisis for us, a ticking time bomb. So we have to arrest that. We have to redesign our economy in a way wealth is shared by everyone, not monopolized by few people. And 99% of the people left with only 1% of the wealth. That cannot be accepted. And that wealth concentration is getting more and more acute, worse every day. So we want to stop that process and reverse the process so that wealth comes back to the people, not run away from people. And the third zero is zero unemployment, because technology is coming in a big way to replace human beings on workplaces and everywhere. So if human beings are replaced in all kinds of roles, what is the use of human being on the planet itself? Human being will turn into garbage on this planet. We don't want to see human being as garbage. We want to see human being as the creative minds of the planet and taking care of the planet and make this planet a beautiful planet. So that's what the 3-0 all about. That's in a global framework. What I see now through this announcement that we are making together today, making a commitment today, that we want to make a microcosm of this world of 3-0 into a world of an island of Okinawa. Okinawa will lead the way, becoming 3-0 island, to demonstrate in the world that it is possible. So our commitment in Okinawa is to achieve those 3-0 goals: zero net carbon emission, and zero wealth concentration, and zero unemployment, by unleashing the power of entrepreneurship in us all. So we want to bring that, and Ozaki-san made it very clear that this is our commitment, this is the direction we want to go, and we want to bring education into the picture, because we have to redesign our thinking process. That's where the education comes. So we will be bringing this education to think differently, that we can create another kind of world, not a world which is in the suicidal path, but a world which will be transformed into something very enjoyable for everybody who will be living in this planet, rather than be horrified that maybe we are coming to an end of this planet. Thus, we have to transform that and make this world in a way that wealth will be shared by everybody. So now we'll translate this in the Okinawa context. Okinawa context, that we want to make sure that we have the participation of people in a way that we are not making this wealth concentration worse, but we are reversing the wealth concentration. Wealth can be reversed in that way. So all these ideas and the entrepreneurship ideas, transforming the young people into entrepreneurs rather than a job seeker. So that's where our main attempt will be to the fund, from the Dormant Fund, to create venture capital fund, social business venture capital fund, so that the young people, instead of looking for jobs, they will be the creator of businesses, and most likely social businesses and the money-making businesses transform the island, the economy, and the concept of economy within the island to become an example for all of Japan and for all of the world itself. So this is our task. This is the direction that we will be going. We bring entrepreneurship. I keep saying that human beings are not born to work for somebody else. Human beings are born as entrepreneurs. But the economics misguided us, transformed us into job seekers rather than entrepreneurs. So in Okinawa, we want to adjust the young people. So the new generation of young people in Okinawa will be a new generation, completely not only in outlook, in its thinking, in its formulation, and take the responsibility of transforming the island into a 3-0 island. And that's a responsibility that will be supported by the Dormant Fund to make that possible. So all these elements coming together, the Dormant Fund and Yoshimoto, and also with the Yunus Japan, and all the elements that we have together will make it happen. And always we are told money is the source of happiness. And we are the one who are describing that money may be happiness, but making other people happy is a super happiness. We want to build Okinawa as an island of super happiness. And that's the goal we want to make. So we are looking forward to making that happen, super happiness in Okinawa. And that's the direction we want to go. And thank you for taking this initiative. And that makes me extremely excited and very happy about your initiative.
Thank you, Dr. Yunus. Interesting and inspiring comments. Okay, we'll turn to questions now. The room from the working press. If you could focus your questions mainly on Dr. Yunus, please. But if you do have a question for one of the other panelists, please say who you're asking the question of. So, do we have any questions from the room from working journalists? If not, I will move. Well, let me take one question online, which is from the president of this club, Savindri Kikuchi, and she asks, what is the response in Okinawa among the Okinawa local businessmen and the general population to expanding the social business concept locally? So what is the local reception to these ideas? Perhaps, Professor Yunus, you'd like to kick off with that, would you?
I couldn't hear anything, just the last few words I just heard. Can you repeat? Sorry,
okay, well,
sound completely went off.
Okay, she asks, what is the response among Okinawa local businessmen and the population in generally to this social business concept?
I have personally not visited Okinawa. Probably Osaki-san and Okada-san can explain. But once we explain, people will love that. Particularly young people love the idea of social business. And we have been doing social business in Japan. Many Japanese companies are involved with us creating social businesses. Like Uniqlo has created social business in Bangladesh. So this is a big company doing social business. And there are several other social businesses created in Japan. And more specifically can be explained. But definitely Okinawa will be very happy to receive this message and get involved with it.
Okay. Okada-san, do you want to? Yes.
先ほど僕のメッセージスピーチの時に
In my speech, I mentioned
元々日本人の DNA
that it's close to the heart of the Japanese DNA. That is Dr. Yunus's philosophy. Since 2008, there's been promotion efforts for Dr. Yunus's projects, and I've been engaged in research as well. And I think this whole concept is very amenable to the Japanese public. But with this grant based on dormant accounts, a new platform has been created, which then is a new model that can be used as a demonstration to the general and to the government, local governments as well. So it's not a one-off project, but rather a government-backed platform that can present real case studies, particularly with the focus in Okinawa with a relatively high poverty rate in Japan, and becoming a venue for social projects to resolve social issues, and I think that would garner a lot of attention.
Right, thank you. Okay, I want to make one short announcement. Apparently there were video and audio problems at the start of this event with both Japanese and English, but the video will be uploaded later, so please watch the video to see the parts we missed. Okay, questions from the floor. You can ask questions in Japanese or in English. There will be translation. So do we have any questions from the floor, please? Okay, well, while you're working your questions, I'll take a second question online, which is from Mr. Monserl Hook of Proton Allo News. He has two questions. The first is that Okinawa Prefecture was one of the worst hit by COVID in Japan, and that you started your ventures right before this happened. So he asks, how far have your activities been hampered by the pandemic? What have the activities of local comedians done to ease the suffering of the people and promoting laughter through the pandemic? That's his first question. Second question is, well, let's take that question first. Who would like to answer that one, please? Yes. Yes, please.
当事業のコロナ禍のご影
With
響がど
respect
のぐらい
to
であったかと
the
いうご質問
pandemic
です
impact
が、
on our
当初
activities, on our project,
本来であればもう少し
that was
早
the
いタイミン
question.
グで発表することを考えておりましたが、
The plan was to announce
状況を考えまし
earlier,
て、本日に至っております。
but giving due consideration to the current events, we've ended up announcing it today.
Okay. All right. The second part of the question was whether promoting the activities of comedians and laughter has helped at the time of disaster. お願いします。
はい。そうですね。やはり全国におります
Right.
住みます芸人にも
The
コロナの影
comedians
響
were
は
embedded in
多
local
数あり
communities
ま
across
し
the
て、
country
た
were
だ
affected
コロナ禍に
by
お
the
いて
pandemic
オンラインを活用した活
quite a
動
bit
新
as
しい
well.
活動な
But
どを切り開いたりと
because
か
of the
しております
pandemic,
ので、
there are
そう
new
いう意味では
endeavors
今
using
新しい
the
チャ
online
レンジの途中
platform.
という
So we're
状況
still
かと思い
halfway
ます。はい、よ
through
ろ
a
しくお願いします。
new initiative or new challenge. Thank you.
Okay, well, we have a second question from Mr. Hook, which is addressed to Professor Yunus. Do you think social business can play a key role in providing solutions for overcoming the negative impacts of COVID-19? And if so, how? Professor Yunus.
Well, yes, definitely. Definitely, this is a very important initiative at this time, the social business. One is in the finance sector, that how to bring finance to the people who lost their income, lost their jobs, housing, food, massive way globally, to how to make that finance available in a social business way, rather than making money out of it. We'll be doing it, whoever wants to do it, in a way so that they can cover the cost and help the people to get off the situation as quickly as anybody can. And also, vaccine has been a terrible thing during this pandemic. Vaccine finally came, but it didn't come for the people at the lower end of the income in the world. Whatever vaccine has been produced today, up to now, 80% of the vaccines have gone to the 10 lucky countries. So it's limited to few countries. And the poorer countries have not even received 2% of the vaccination for the population in those countries. So we have been promoting that it should be removed. The patent on the vaccine should be removed. It should be patent-free so that vaccines can be produced all over the world without any patent control, patent right. But that has not happened. So we are now initiating a proposal to create social business pharmaceutical company. So it is money maximizing profit companies. They are protecting the knowledge of the world to make profit for themselves, rather than sharing the knowledge of the patent to be shared by everybody else, so that all people can be saved. So this is another initiative we are encouraging, to create social business pharmaceutical companies to produce vaccines and also produce drugs, to make it easy for people to buy medicine at an affordable cost and at the cost of production level, rather than enormous added profit to it. So these are the directions that we are encouraging people to make sure that we address the pandemic in a way we can do it together and faster.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the floor? Yes, the lady over there, please. Yes, please. Can you come to the microphone, please, and can you come to the microphone and identify yourself, please? Over here, please. Over there, yes, sir. Fine.
I am from Kyodo News. My name is Ando. Thank you very much for today. I am sorry that perhaps my understanding is not quite sufficient, so I'd like to ask some of the facts, confirming some of the facts. So looking at the dormant funds, so this is first of all as a project from Jumpia, and then it is Jumpia who has the funds which are being distributed via Yunus, Japan, to Laugh and Peace. If I could just ask for a clarification of that system, and yes, we have a nod confirming that that is correct. I would like to ask when this will be concretely starting, for example, if it will be at the movie festival next year, or if there is an official kick-off which will be starting some of these dates.
はい、 事業期
Thank
間
you
は
very
す
much.
で
So the
に
period
スター
has
トしてお
actually
りまし
already
て、
begun
実際
for
に
this project.
先ほどご紹
And
介した
as introduced
ワークショップ等
previously
は
before, the workshops and so on to be
年明けか
held
ら
in Okinawa will be beginning from the beginning of 2022. In April next year, we are planning the Okinawa International Movie Festival, and on that occasion, we will be having the business contest. Is our current plan. So the start has already,
年明け
well, the project has already begun, but we are starting the actual activities to be beginning from the beginning of 2022.
Right. Yes, please.
Mainichi Shimbun Yui です。よろしくお願いします。ユヌス博士にお聞きします。
I'm Yui from Minus
日本では
Newspaper. Question for
SDGs
Dr.
という言葉
Yunus
がもうほとんどの方が知るようになりました。
is a
ただ、
familiar term.
もう一歩先に
Almost
進めるた
everyone
め
in
に
Japan, but in order to
SDGs を
push
進める
that
ためには
forward,
どのような
SDGs,
課題がある
propel
というふうにお考
SDGs
えでしょうか。
efforts
お聞
forward.
きしたい
What do you
お
think
聞
is
きします。
lacking? What do you think will be necessary to push SDG initiatives further?
Yes, definitely, we will all behind the SDGs. But SDG is a political platform agreed by all the countries of the world. When all the countries have to agree on something, they make it milder because so that everybody can agree. So we want to say things in a very clear way. We are not in the mood of reducing something like poverty. We want to bring it to zero. So that's a very clear statement. Reducing is a very uncertain thing. Reducing something, there are many words, reduce. So we want to bring it to zero so that it's a concrete, we know what the achievement would be. And we can make it very sharp focus on poverty. The zero net carbon emission is again a very sharp one. Zero wealth concentration. Wealth concentration is something which is the root of all the trouble for the for poverty and all that. So how to address the basic issue of wealth concentration so that we can overcome the problem of poverty once for all. It's not hanging around here. We have been saying that poverty should be put in museums. It should not be in any human society anywhere in the world. And if human being is capable of doing that, if we can have bold decisions made, that's where we want to bring it to Okinawa so that we can bring all these ideas of the 3 zeros in Okinawa so in a concrete shape, and we can produce the beginning of this concrete shape through the project that we have been launching.
Thank you. Right, more questions? If not, excuse me, I have a question myself, which is addressed to Dr. Yunus and any member of the panel, which is, forgive me if I've missed the point here, but obviously all of these things are very important to Okinawa, but why Okinawa? Do you feel that Okinawa is more receptive, the authorities are more receptive to these ideas than other parts of Japan? Why in particular Okinawa? And as I say, forgive me if this has already been explained, but I think it's something which people...
I'll be brief. I have not decided the choice of the place, but I fully agree. This is supposed to be an area where many of the social indicators are below the national level. Mm-hmm. So this deserves to be getting attention and so on. So this I see as a good selection. If you are at the back of the line, it's a good thing to start there so that you can show whether your ideas and your activities work. So I think Jean-Pierre or Suzuki-san or Osaki-san can explain why Okinawa was selected.
Okay, more comments from...
I think Okada-san is more appropriate to explain.
Okay, Okada-san, fine.
Yes.
Okada-san will be good.
はい。で僕の方から、
And so I
ユヌスさんが
will
よく
respond a little
バン
bit
グラ
to
デ
this.
シュで
Also,
この
Professor Yunus is
ソ
also
ーシャルビ
often
ジネス
talking
の
about social business
インキュベーション
in
の話をされるとき
Bangladesh and the
に、バン
incubation
グラデシュ
projects
の若者
there,
たちによく
saying that
言われるの
Bangladesh,
が、
what
君たちは
young
非常に
people often say
幸せで
to
ある。
young people there
な
is,
ぜならば、
you
バングラデ
are
シュ
happy.
に
The
はたく
reason is
さん
because there
解
are
決すべき
so
社会
many
問
different
題がいっ
issues,
ぱいある。
social issues to
という
resolve
こと
here
で
in
よく言われるん
Bangladesh.
で
You
す
should be
けど
very
も、
happy because
ま
there are
さに
so many
同じよ
different
うに
things that you can work on.
沖
And the
縄に
very
は
same case
日
is
本の
true
中で
for
も
Okinawa
特に
as well. Okinawa Okinawa is a place within all of Japan where there are
まあ
many
指摘されている。
different social
でそうい
issues
うところで
accumulating. And this
この
is
ソー
the
シャルビ
kind
ジネ
of
ス
place
を
where
使って社会問
using
題を
social
解決
business
してい
as a
くという
tool
の
to
は
resolve
まさに
different social
マーケッ
issues
トとし
is
て考え
indeed,
て
but
ソー
there
シャ
is
ルビ
also
ジ
a
ネスのマーケッ
market
ト
there,
と
a
して考え
market
て
for
も
social
非常にフィズブル
businesses
な
there. So it's a very
マーケットになるというふう
feasible
に考えます。
location
でその
for
効果も
such a project.
非常に高い
And we
もの
hope that
が
the
予測される
impacts or
と
the
思いま
effects
すの
of
で、
this
そう
are
いう意味で
also
も
expected to be
沖
very
縄
high
という
as
のは
well.
適してい
So
る
this is why Okinawa is a very suitable location. Thank you.
I see. Thank you. Okay. More questions? Oh, yes, please.
すみません、TBS の近田と言います。ユヌス先生にお伺いしたいんですけども、ソーシャルビジネスとですね、スポーツの関連についてちょっとお
To
伺いしたいんです
Dr.
けど、よろ
Yunus,
しいでしょうか。
the relationship between social business and sports.
Yes. I have been talking about the power of sports whenever I get a chance. It's an amazing thing that when you had the Olympic 2020 in Tokyo, almost 75% of the population of the world was watching it, although it's an empty stadium. But the people around the world take so much interest in all these sports events. Even if a football game takes place, a baseball game takes place, how enthusiastically people get into it. I see when the World Cup comes in, I see all over Bangladesh, in every single village, they're flying the flags of their favorite club. So Bangladesh is filled with hundreds and hundreds of flags all around the country, flying the flags of Brazil or Argentina or Germany or France. They don't know where these countries are, but they support the club. And when if the team is defeated, they cry. The whole village get quiet. They don't talk to each other anymore. If the club wins, there's a celebration going on, drums beating and people shouting and enjoying themselves. They don't know all these people, but sports brought them together. So that's an emotional power of sports. I said this power of sports is never used for social purposes. It's used for only commercial purposes. You try to promote your product by addressing the viewers of the sports and so on, making appeal to them to buy their products and so on. I said this is a good power which can be translated into social force. So we did that discussions, and people in the sports world, particularly IOC, International Olympic Committee, they wanted to check that out, how to make it happen. And also France, government of France, particularly Mayor of Paris, and Hidalgo, she became very interested in the idea, asked me whether an Olympic can be converted into a social business Olympic. I said, of course, Olympic can be an excellent example of social business Olympic. So we created that idea, concept, and presented to IOC, and Paris got the selection for that, for 2024 Olympic. So now we are designing the entire Olympic as a social business Olympic. And in the beginning, I explained to them, the people who were designing it, look, one quick basic principle that you have to follow, and we'll continually ask the question and see if it is you are following that. Out of the 7 billion euro, the budget that you have for Paris Olympic, not a single penny of that 7 billion euro should be spent on something which doesn't have a social purpose. So you have to find the social purpose first before you use that money for that expenditure. So this is the direction we are designing the housing for the athletes as an Olympic village. I said it should not be only Olympic village, it will be village for the real people. Olympic athletes will be a temporary visitor for them. And when they leave, the real people will leave. And these will be places for, these are the houses for the homeless people. People who cannot afford to pay the rent, they will be given these houses, and they will have a decent life for them. And it will be real village, not just a village name only, but a real village with the schools, with the businesses, and people who can have activities, their participation in the local economy, and so on. So this will be designed like that. So this is what we are working, and Paris 2024 Olympic is designing like that. And also, we are trying to see athletes after the age of 35 has nothing to do because they have not learned anything except for sports. Now, today we are saying, no, they can be good entrepreneurs. So we are training sports people to turn into entrepreneur when they have no role to play in the sports world anymore. There's a huge number of athletes who don't have a future because they have not succeeded. They didn't become a celebrity. They are not the top champions and so on. But hundreds of thousands of these young people work so hard during their lifetime. But after age, when it goes over 35 or 36, they are no longer as useful in the sports world. But their life should not end there. This should be the beginning of a new life for them. That's where the social business comes in and transform them with a hope and a new life for them. So we are working on them. We have an elaborate system developed already to bring the sports people into a social business arena, transforming them into entrepreneurs, as well as making sports event as a social business event.
Thank you. We are really up against time, but we did start a little late. So if we have just one final question, if someone wants to ask a question. If not, can I ask you, Professor Yunus, very quickly?
Yes.
Are you happy with the level of support that you've received from the Japanese national government on this in this venture, or do you want more?
We always want more, but we really have lots of support all along. We have tremendous support from the government of Japan and the mayor of Tokyo. Whenever I went there, they were very kind enough to have discussions with me. So we would like to build up more and more collaborations, particularly on the environmental issues, on the issues of entrepreneurship, on the issues of youth, transforming the youth for future. Youth should not be frustrated because they're accusing the older generation that you are responsible for taking away our future because of the global warming and so on. So instead of letting the young people accuse the older generation, I said, why don't the young people take the charge of the world planet? So we are encouraging young people to form 30 clubs. So the 5 young people can get together and form a 30 club and then get in connection with each other, how to implement in a piece by piece, in a small way, 30 ideas about the global warming, about the wealth concentration, about the unemployment, entrepreneurship, and all that. Even in the beginning as a token way. It doesn't have to be real thing, but in a token, a symbolic way. If you're talking about making plastic disappear as a contribution to saving the planet, so you say that I will not use plastic for 1 month, just to show that what are the plastic you use every day. So you will stay away from that. Or you will stop eating beef for 1 week or one month. So that because beef contributes to global warming, something like that, or plant trees or something. Just a symbolic, so that you become aware of it and get ready for each other. What are the actions to be taken? Become conscious. The consciousness among the young people is something very important, so that they can take charge of the planet by themselves. So they become the pilot of this spaceship planet rather than the passengers of this planet.
Nice idea. All right. Well, thank you very much indeed. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of our time. I'd like to thank all of the speakers, Professor Yunus and the other speakers, very warmly for your very interesting contributions. So I'll ask you all to please join me in thanking our speakers. But before we do finish, we need to have one more photo session. So please, if you could remain here among the speakers. But in the meantime, thank you very much to the speakers.
Thank you. Thank you.